So in this afternoon's Celtic FC news, it's all about one thing: who will be the next manager? As the odds that the bookies are sitting at the moment, we'll go from sort of the most outlandish and least possible probably going to get the job is Martin O'Neill, 20-1. Kieran McKenna, 20-1. Steve Clark, he will not be offered the job, 20-1. Paul Lambert, he won't be offered the job, 16-1. Graham Potter, I don't think he'll be looking either, 16-1. Scott Brown, 12-1. It's too early for Scott. David Moyes, 10-1, who's slipping down the rankings. John Kennedy's 8-1. The Bobo Glint manager, Kudson, is 6-1. Jesse Marsh, he's 6-1. Brendan Rodgers, 3-1. Brendan Rodgers, it's been said, won't take the job, but it looks like Enzo at Man City will be spoken to after this weekend's Champions League final. Being part of the City group, Celtic are looking to have tentative contract talks this week with a view to further talks this weekend after the Champions League final with Inter Milan, and that is in Istanbul. Pep Guardiola has been talking about Ange. He said, I was lucky to meet him in Kyogo years ago when he was the manager of Yokohama. He was one of the other clubs in the City football group. We had an interesting chat. He's done an incredible job at Glasgow Celtic. He will do an incredible job at Spurs. He's also been talking about the man that could replace him, and Pep Guardiola went on to say about his number 2, he says that he will be an outstanding manager one day. He says he'll become an extraordinary manager in the future. He could take that opportunity with Celtic. He's got quite a bit of a background playing history. He's got a good playing history, but he has been in and around Man City for a good few years. He did have a spell in charge of Parma for his first senior appointment, but he won only 4 games in 14 in the dugout, and then he quickly went back to Man City in July 2022. It's going to be one of these things. It's going to be somebody that we're not even talking about. You know what we're like. Where do we go from here? It's all about just finding the next manager. It's about keeping the staff. Ange Postecoglou is seemingly after Kyogo, Rio Hatate and Jota. I don't think Celtic will sell the 3 of them. They would be absolutely mad to basically tear apart the middle of the pitch and the main striker before pre-season and Champions League. A new manager in the next week or so will give Celtic the time. Keeping John Kennedy, I would say, is absolute paramount for the continuation of the success that we have. John Kennedy's been at the club a long time. I think you might get Strachan and Harry Kewell. They might jump ship, but you never know. Strachan's been he's been around for a few years as well now, so it all depends. It all really depends. It's said that Ange Postecoglou will try and come back at a later date for his backroom staff. But Celtic are basically holding all the aces, and they don't really have to let these guys go, but it's whether they want to go or not. In other Celtic news, there's not much more going around than that. That is the sort of the main names that are getting handed about just now. It's looking like the Enzo at Man City, the whole Man City connection with the City group, it looks like he is the front runner at the moment. Exciting times. What do you think? An Italian in the Celtic hot seat? It could be good football. Could be really good football.